actually refer on, either back to their GP for them then to be sent on to the appropriate specialist. But one has to remember that when you see a registered osteopath, the initial consultation is all about screening that patient to find out what the correct diagnosis is and whether or not they're suitable for treatment.
If you have a back problem, are there any golden rules for who you should go to see?
I think the thing that everybody's got to remember is that, be it orthodox medicine, the GP, the orthopedic surgeon, the registered osteopath or the chiropractor, we all have our scope, but in many ways sometimes we have our limitations. We can't help every problem. And if one chooses to see any form of complementary medicine practitioner, remember to see somebody who is qualified and trained.
That's his cross, and Bright's there, O'Reilly's there!
Some of the most serious back problems fail to respond even to the wide range of treatments that we've heard about. And in these cases, a trip to the operating theatre is often the only solution. For Crystal Palace centre-half Gary O'Reilly, it was either surgery or the end of his football career.
First started back in about 81. I used to get up in the mornings and I feel quite sore and stiff in the back. The club said, well, look, change your bed or change the mattress. And I did that and it had a temporary effect on the thing. But then it carried on for a few months and it got to the stage where they said, well, look, let's go and send you to a specialist. The diagnosis was that I had a slipped disc. This was then operated on. I was only 20 years of age at the time, and it was found that the disc had been pushed out by an abnormal growth of bone. So the surgeon, Mr. England, just pared away the lapsed part of the disc and just removed that abnormality of bones.
But then a few years later it came back again. That must have worried you.
Yes and no, because that was something like 6 years later. I got caught moving a TV, a big TV of my own, and I felt something in my back go.
You picked it up the wrong way, in other words?
Just picked it up and just got caught holding it. So I felt something go, and I just carried on for about 4 months, playing and training until eventually the back gave out.
Gary's prolapsed disc was forcing the nerve against the underlying bone, and it was this pressure that was causing his agony. His consultant advised him to have the disc removed.
Well, I've had 2 disc operations and I had perfect confidence in the surgeons. And I suppose I'm a walking testimony to their work, because I've had 2 and I've come out and I've still played. Not everybody plays football for a living, and not everybody has to go through the sort of rigours of training and work that I do. So it's possible to have your operation and carry on a perfectly normal life. I mean, I go and lift weights, go running, go cycling, go swimming, everyday activities for a lot of people. So there's no reason why having an operation should be the termination of a good life, a good and healthy life.
But it's not only with back pain that you need an attitude that's as positive as Gary's. That comes in pretty handy when you're looking after your children's health too. In next week's programme, we'll be taking a look at the damage that fatty foods like this may be doing to the long-term health of our children, and what we can do to ensure they get a more healthy diet. Does it mean an end to chips and all the other food that they enjoy? We'll find out.
Oh, did you see that bit where he turned her over and went and you heard the crack? Oh, well, if you'd like more information on the subject, not of getting your back cracked, but curing it, you can contact the National Back Pain Association, 31 to 33 Park Road, Teddington, Middlesex, TW110AB. That's the National Back Association, 31 to 33 Park Road, Teddington, Middlesex, TW110AB, and enclose a stamped addressed envelope. Now it's back to Matthew to see how he's faring in the packaging factory. Are you having any second thoughts about these assignments, Matthew?
Yes, I'm thinking of applying for a desk job, Debbie. Anyway, regular viewers will know that at 9:25 every day on Daytime we have a dish of the day. Well, here at Stratford we've got our own dish of the day. As promised, we're making industrial Christmas puddings.
Yes,
this is
indeed.
Vincenzo. He's in charge of Christmas pudding production, and he's going to tell us exactly what the ingredients are.
Okay, hello, Matthew.
Hello, Vincenzo.
In bin number 1, we have sultanas and raisins, which are marinated with rum and beer. Bin number 2, candied peel, currants and granulated sugar. In bin number 3, we have rusk, dried egg, nipped sugar, ground almonds and flour.
Okay.
All ingredients make 252 kilograms.
252 kilograms. That's about 250 Christmas puddings.
250 Christmas puddings.
I hope those of you at home are taking notes, because we have the recipe here and it's not available later. Okay, here is where we actually marinate the fruit. Tell us what that involves,
yes.
Vince.
It involves marinating for about 12 hours or so by adding rum and beer.
Rum
if
and
you would like to help us doing so,
I most certainly would.
Jolly good. You have got there
Here we have a jug of rum.
a jug of rum.
Very
yes,
potent it
very
smells
good,
too.
yes.
We actually
And
pour
the
it in
beer,
there.
that's it.
Don't you have any
Go
problems
ahead.
with workers actually secretly drinking the booze?
Definitely not. We don't do things like that to suffer food.
Of course you don't,
After
Richard.
work, yes, we do plenty of it.
And when does Christmas pudding production actually start?
It usually starts around February, March, and it goes on until the middle of November.
Right. So all that stuff is mixed. It goes into a hoist.
Into the hoist, yes, in the mixing vessel, which is already prepared with all the liquids, which is water, milk, lemon juice, and so forth.
And then it's fed down
Then
a few
it's fed
pipes.
down into a bin and into our converters, sausage filler.
Converted sausage machine.
Now, Andy will
is-
show you precisely what to do. And then
Hello,
I'll
Andy.
like to have a go.
Right. Tell us what you're actually doing. You're
Well, what I'm actually doing is filling the bowl up 3 times, checking the weight on the scale to make sure the weight is right, pass it on to the girls from the spread, and then it goes on the trolley ready for the ovens.
right.
Would you like to
So
try yourself?
yeah,
Matthew?
why not? Hey, let's have a go
It's a
at
very good experience.
squirting the this is the converted sausage machine. This is the accelerator, is it, presumably?
A bit clearer to you, please.
It looks pretty disgusting. That looks revolting, Vince. It looks chipolata
Can you
flavoured
try it a
Christmas
little
pudding.
better?
Doesn't quite look the same as.
No, that's enough, that's enough. You're only supposed to give
I
3
can't turn the
shots.
accelerator off.
Turn it off.
Anyway, these are going to be going in the oven. Join us in about an hour's time, and we'll be taking them out and wrapping them. See you later.
I was not employed to do a job like that.
Looks terrible, doesn't it? I think he suits the hairnet, though. Now, if you'd like Matthew to have a go at your job, let us know.
And we'll find out whether he's made a success of that at 11:45. I doubt it very much. Anyway, tomorrow we'll look at high fashion behind the counter. Love them or hate them, company uniforms are more popular than ever.
And our phone-in is all about tranquilizers, said to be still the biggest drug problem in Britain. Our resident expert, Dr. Eva Jacobs, will be waiting for your calls, so ring us now on 061 814 0814. If you've got young children and you're tired of paying for haircuts, we'll show you how to give them a fashionable trim at home. And in a minute, hey, should we go and catch one of the children over there to practice on? Here we come.
We've just heard that at 11:45, just before the open line update, Bill Wyman is popping in here for a chat prior to his visit to Scene Today. But let's see what's left on Daytime UK. Kilroy follows the news with today's debate on the Gulf crisis. In afternoon at 12:05, Rosemary Connolly paves the way to a healthy life in her diet and fitness club. And finishing off the morning at 12:20, Scene Today features Rolling Stone Bill Wyman, musical trio The Fairer Sax, and a look behind the scenes of the Birmingham Royal Ballet. And with the news on the hour, that's the morning here on Daytime UK.
Good morning. The French hostages are coming home from Iraq, but more than 1,000 British men are still trapped in the Gulf. Their wives are getting angry, but what can be done to bring them home? Today on Kilroy, hostage wives say what they think we should do to end their agony. But will their plans work? That's Kilroy, 11:05 after the news.
The news at 11 o'clock. The Serious Fraud Office says its investigators are searching the London headquarters of Polypec, the trading company whose shares have collapsed. The search has been carried out with the knowledge of the administrators appointed last week to take control of the company.
Police from the Serious Fraud Office are now inside the Polypec headquarters in Mayfair. They arrived with a search warrant this morning and are said to be examining a number of documents. The fresh fruit to electronics empire is in the hands of 3 administrators who were appointed by the High Court last week. They're trying to establish whether the company's debts of more than £1 billion can be paid off. Polypec's chairman, Mr. Azal Nadir, was interviewed by the Serious Fraud Office earlier this year. He's also facing a personal bankruptcy suit.
The driver of the train which crashed at Purley last year, killing 5 people, has had his jail sentence for manslaughter reduced. Robert Morgan was jailed for 6 months. That's now been cut to 4 months. And the decision means Mr. Morgan will be released from jail on Friday. America's Secretary of State James Baker has warned that there's a limit to the international community's patience with Iraq. Mr. Baker said the United States would not rule out the possible use of force.
The Secretary of State sets off later this week for talks in Saudi Arabia, and he's warning the American people that war in the Gulf is still a very real possibility.
Let no one doubt, we will not rule out a possible use of force if Iraq continues to occupy Kuwait.
Normally, Mr. Baker is cautious. In this speech, though, he spoke of war more than once when referring to Saddam Hussein. At the same time, President Bush was saying he would not necessarily consult Congress before ordering military action.
6 American sailors have been killed in an accident in the Gulf. A pipe ruptured in the boiler room of the amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima, spraying hot steam onto the men. The ship was returning to sea from Bahrain after routine maintenance. More than 260 French hostages have arrived back in Paris after being released from Iraq. The French government has denied there was any deal to secure their release. There were also 4 Britons among the people arriving on the Iraqi Airways flight. Indian security forces have driven back thousands of Hindus who occupied a mosque in the northern town of Ayodhya. According to one report, 6 people were killed when the police opened fire.
More than 100 people have already died in communal rioting over the last week, and today 10,000 Hindu fundamentalists are trying to break through a massive security cordon involving 250,000 armed men. At issue is a Muslim mosque at Ayodhya, once the site of a Hindu temple. The Hindus say it's the birthplace of the god Ram, and they want to replace the mosque with a new temple. Over 100,000 Hindus have been arrested, and the crisis is threatening the Indian government's fragile parliamentary majority.
That's it. There'll be more from the newsroom at midday.